point and you aiming for the seven figures. Hear from the experts who know how to deliver. Success stories, plenty advice. Time for you to rise. REI Tribe, yeah. Real estate agents to investors. All my entrepreneurs, time for you to check this. Yoann direct, he's getting it started, man. From running businesses to digital marketing. Hey, REI Tribe. REI Tribe. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this new episode of the REI Tribe. Today I have a very special guest coming right from Miami, my man Luigi.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, thank you, Yoann, for inviting me here. And it's Luigi from Offmarketdeals and REI events.
For sure. So, I've been trying to get Luigi to come on this podcast for a while.
Yeah,
It's a long drive from Miami, but I think Luigi is going to provide a lot of value to you guys, just because he's a high volume word, but he's doing it on a model that most of you guys don't know. You're probably the only guy that I know that is able to produce that much volume with literally zero spend in marketing.
correct.
So I really want today to deep dive on, the technique that you're using and how you've been able to build such a great business. But before we get started, can you just tell me a bit more about your background? Like, how did you get started in real estate?
Yeah, so I like to tell everybody I'm a landlord first and a wholesaler second. And the whole reason I got into basically wholesaling is to own more real estate, and I was able to do that through wholesaling.
All right. Yeah, makes sense. So did you get started right away? Like, did you already own a few rental before getting?
Yeah. I actually owned my first rental was a duplex, which I house hacked. And basically, I kept getting postcards from other wholesalers, ironically enough. And I was like, I called the postcards up, and I was like, oh, what is this about? You guys want to buy my house? And I figured out it was basically wholesalers trying to basically buy my house for a profit. And I figured out I want to do this.
Yeah, for sure. So you never you didn't get started as a real estate agent. You never worked for a brokerage or anything.
Well, yeah. So my aunt actually owns a brokerage,
Okay.
Smart Miami Realty, and so I do have that realtor aspect of me because I am I like to do commercial real estate. So I do work in that aspect of it. Yes.
Oh, so you're still currently working on the commercial side.
Correct. But on the wholesaling side, I stumbled on. I guess I would say my first deal was a wholesale deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting, dude. I owned a brokerage back in the day. I don't know if you knew that, but I had a brokerage for 5 years here in South Florida. We had a pretty big team. We had 80 agents, but I didn't know anything about wholesaling. One day I just stumbled across, some videos on YouTube, and and it ended up I was doing a flip, and I saw the line on the hood, assignment fee. This guy was making 20K on a deal that I was probably going to hold for 6 months to make the same thing, maybe less. And so I was like, I probably need to deep dive into those strategies and kind of understand how everything works. But for you, it seemed to be quite the opposite. You knew right out of the gate what wholesaling was. You were interested into it, and so you got started pretty.
Yeah, I stumbled upon my first 2 deals. I think my first deal I did behind my house. I literally was walking my dog, and I was able to get a land that was just deserted and had a bunch of liens violations. I skip traced the owner, found out about skip tracing. I gave him a cash offer, and I was able to wholesale it to those same people that were sending me postcards, bringing it to my house.
Really?
So basically, yeah, that was my first deal.
That's interesting. So, do you get started right here in Miami?
Yeah, here in Miami, literally just in my backyard. I was like, hey, I want to try this whole thing down, and I was able to lock up just basically a land behind my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this land behind your house, you didn't know the owner, right?
No,
traced them.
exactly. I didn't know the owner. I skip traced them. It took me about 3 months finally get him on the phone. Once I got him on the phone, I basically gave him a cash offer for 50% of the value, which is right where I needed to be. And I basically sold it for profit,
Okay, that's amazing. So I know we're going to talk a little bit about everything that you do on the event side. I know you're very big on building a brand and networking.
Of course.
Would you say that getting started in Miami, since you're already from here and, probably already had a network in place? Did it help you?
Oh, 100%. I mean, at first I would say I was closing 1, 2, 3 deals a month. And then right now we have 16 deals on the board. And it's all because of networking. I would have never got there if, I wouldn't be doing the networking events that I do. And that's the big reason why I still continue to do them. It's to network. I mostly do what it's called. It's co-wholesaling. What I'm doing.
Okay. Okay. So can you tell us a bit more about that? I know that, you explained this first deal was more like a traditional wholesale deal. You find a piece of land, you skip trades here, you get it under contract, and then you find an end buyer.
Correct.
That's not exactly what you're currently doing right
Correct.
now. You're more on like the dispo side.
Yeah.
You're finding guys that already did this work of finding the deal, and then you help them close the finance.
Yeah, so right now it's so now I have a community, right, which is like the Offmarketdeals community, where they basically get on there and it's a bunch of other wholesalers, other realtors, other investors that are hungry for deals, and basically 60, 70 cents on the dollar. So they're looking for discounted deals. I basically connect with other wholesalers, put it on my list, put it on the chat, and that's how I'm able to close deals. The term I like to call it basically co-wholesaling, right? Because it's not basically my deal. I just move other people's deals around, and it works.
It's pretty insane. Like I'm on your chat and I see deals being done every day. I see you posting or your team posting some deals, and then 5 minutes later I see deals sold. This one is not available anymore. So it seems to be like a very high performance kind of process.
Yeah, we send about 25 to 35 deals a week on the platform. And yeah, man, like I said, the market is moving. The market is definitely moving. A lot of people, they see me and they don't know how to structure the deal. They don't know how to put it together, or they need escrow help, or they need help structuring the deal, or they need a proof of funds. And sometimes I'll help them out, basically, walk them through the transaction, and they might not have a buyer's list, or they might not have, the very big network, but they have the deal. I always say the best gem is the person who has the deal, holds the keys. The person who has the deal holds the keys. So, they give it to me because they trust my network, and I just put it on my chat, or I put it on my email blast, and it sells.
So you mean as long as you have a deal, as long as you work at the contract at the right price,
Correct.
finding a buyer is not going to be an issue.
Correct.
You can always.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, if it's a deal, if it's gone in 30 minutes, literally, I have a system in place where just anyone in South Florida, if it meets those numbers, you'll have a wire in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So people tell me, oh, how do I know? I mean, look, in 48 hours, we'll know if it's a deal or not. And we'll know if we have to adjust our price, extra for a reduction. But in 48 hours, you should know if it was a deal or not.
That's interesting. Yeah, a few years back when I was actively wholesaling, which I don't anymore, I focus more on the marketing side of things. But back in the day, we tried to branch out on the dispo side, and we had access to investor leads. So we had a bunch of people bringing us deals. But the main issue that I saw is that when people would come to us, the deals would be already, overpriced, or they have like 3 days left on their contract to close. So it would be basically like shitty deals. So I guess my question is, how do you filter the deals that people bring to you? Because I'm sure you see a bunch of everything. You see some deals that are probably overpriced.
Of course, I mean, I try to filter as much as I can. But again, the market's going to dictate whether or not it's a deal or not. I mean, I've seen deals where, like, wow, I didn't really think that would sell, but I put it on my list and it sold. You know what I mean? So it just, at the end of the day, the market dictates.
Do you think it just depends because people have different exit strategy? Exactly. Yeah, buyers, some long-term players that are not really looking to buy at 50 cents on the dollar. They're fine, like paying maybe 80 cents on the dollar, as long as, it's a great cash flowing deal that they're going to.
Yeah, correct. I think that's why it's the point. That is why it's so important to have like a variety of buyers, and a buyer. Like, the bigger your network is, the easier it is to close a deal, right? So I have buyers, and I have people in my contacts for every type of situation. If it's like a 1031 where they don't care, because they just rather buy the new deal, not pay any taxes, and then roll it over to the next deal. So again, that just goes in part with your network.
Yeah, and they probably have a short timeline because they already sold the previous ones. And they need to act fast. So how do you find those deals? Like those people, and how those people like directly coming to you and being like, "Hey, I just locked up this one. I need help," or is it more like people that have tried to sell it on their own and they're quite successful?
I think it's a mix. It's a mix of Instagram, putting content out there. I think it's also going to the networking events, and when people see that you're doing deals, and people just come up to me, "Hey, look, I need help. Can you structure it?" And I think people want to do deals of business with the busiest person in the room.
Yeah.
And if you're the busiest person in the room, you're just going to get more business.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And how about the buyer? Is it the same thing? Is it like the networking, all the events?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'll give you an example. I did a deal with, and they would always see me on the JV. Hey, off market deals. But I would never know that guy. And then, he saw me at a networking event. Hey, we closed 5 deals together, and we never met. But he was always in my network, and that's why it's cool to always bring those networking events together, because even though we always do business together, we never met, and we got the chance to finally meet in person. And people do business with much better with people who they trust, people who they see in person versus on the back of the street.
Yeah. So would you say, like, because I've seen a lot of people trying to be on the dispo side and trying to do some JV and weren't particularly successful at it. Would you say that the personal brand that you build and the event that you're doing is kind of like the key to your success? It's because of that?
Yeah, 100% is the networking. Obviously, I come from a landlord background, so I have my cushion and I have that to fall back on because there are slow months. I'm not gonna say that every month is a home run, because it's not. Obviously there are slow months, so I do fall back on my rental income. And it's comfortable for me. I'm at a point where I'm making almost more than $10,000 a month in net positive cash flow just from my rentals alone. So I could just.
So you're not getting stressed out.
Yeah, that's all the thing. So I think it's kind of a marathon, not a sprint. And I think the people that are not successful, they might try it for 1, 2 months, 2 or 3 months, 4 months, and they burn out, and then, oh, you know what, this is not for me.
That's interesting, bro, because that's something that I've been preaching a lot on this podcast. I'm always like, it's great if you guys do high volume of deals, but please just like put some of this money aside and start to stack up some rentals, because 10 years from now, you're going to look back and there will be nothing left if you don't build that.
Don't quit your day job.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I first started, I started this part-time, so I would work, 40, 60, 70 hours a week, and then I'd go home and I'd either skip trades, make my calls, and then lock up enough deals until where I could feel comfortable and do this full time. So but it was a process, and it did not happen overnight.
When in your career did you notice that it was actually better for you to focus more on the dispo side, like finding buyers for the deal, instead of, finding deals yourself and doing
man, I would say ever since I guess I started the networking event, I had at least 10 deals on the board from just co-wholesaling. I think that's when it was a pivotal moment. I was like, why would I get on the phone, make 500 phone calls, 450 people will tell me no, 50 will tell me will be super hot, and 10 would be super, super hot, and my conversion was 500 to 1. So I just, I created a system where the deals would come to me, I would just swell them out, and it just works. It would, it just works better for me that way.
For sure. And I assume your overhead are much lower than a traditional wholesaler would have. I mean, if you look at it, sometimes like I see some companies like doing, an insane amount of deals, but then I know what the bottom line looks like because I've been there. I know that between, all the VAs, the closers, the marketing, office space, like all of that, we have so much overhead, but the net income is actually pretty small, In your situation, I assume that you don't actually need a big team to run.
No, I don't know many people. Yeah, so I basically run a virtual office right now. So I have Mikael. He's my CFO. He's my marketing officer, and then I have Kimberly, which is like just my VA, she's out of Spain, and then I have a transaction coordinator here in Miami, just in case I need a runner. Yeah, we're a small team, and
So like three people plus you, 4 people.
yeah, 4 lead. Yeah, we got 16 deals on the board, 55 deals for the year. Yeah, so it's pretty good.
That's amazing, bro. And so you're staying focused really in the Florida market. Is it just South Florida or?
Yeah, mostly I would say mostly South Florida. I mean, we try to do deals in Jacksonville, but I think I did a deal in Jacksonville last week, and I think our company we made like $1,000.
Or is this there's a friend of it. So
The spread wasn't that good.
it's insane because it's in Florida.
Yeah.
So it's still in Florida, but it reminds me, I was doing deals in Detroit in Michigan.
Okay.
And Jacksonville for me is like the Detroit of Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
The
it is.
spread are so thin. Like you can still find some houses for like 70, 80K, which is pretty insane, but it's rough there.
It's yes.
Yeah.
Not like the Miami deal. Sometimes I'm doing a deal for 2 apartments. I think I was able to get like a 25K spread there.
Nice.
So that was good.
What would you say is your average?
About 6,000.
Yeah.
About 6,000. Yeah.
Okay.
$6,000.
On your end, or like the full assignment for?
Oh no, just on my end.
Okay.
Obviously, if I'm wholesaling a deal, I'm not gonna get the full chunk of it, but I would say they were on 6,000.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean,
Well, cool. Also, it's not too bad.
no, it's good. I think this model works even better in higher priced market like South Florida, because obviously if you have like in Detroit we had an average of 8,000 spread per deal. I mean, it was very on the dispo side, like you would make peanuts basically. So all right, man, that's cool. So can you tell us a bit more about all this chat that you have currently works? Like if there is people listening to us that want to work with you and or even if they have like they are interested in buying rentals in Florida, or those that work.
Yeah, so 100%. So I'm sure you'll put the link down in the bio to join our chat, join our community. So we have the Offmarketdeals where is the main chat where we send about 25 to 35 deals a month. We have about 20 hard money lenders there as well. I'm also a hard money lender, so if you need hard money or need help structuring your deal, just let me know. We have a land chat as well that's also included. We have a multifamily chat, and then we have Central Florida, Orlando. So yeah, we try to cover more or less all of Florida.
So you're a lender yourself.
Yeah, I do.
Buy and you from you. You're also able to fund the deal.
100%, exactly. So yeah, if you need hard money, I'm your guy, and you need it because all my deals are either cash or hard money. That's why they're heavily discounted.
Yeah, for sure. Do you come across any like creative financing deals?
And I wish I was in that market, but I've been a transactional funder for a creative deal, but I haven't done a creative deal as of yet.
Okay.
Where I had to assume a mortgage and stuff like that. I have yet to go into that space.
So you haven't done any personally, or you haven't seen anything on your platform on your?
Oh no, I mean I'll move it around and stuff, but I haven't really closed on a creative deal yet.
Yeah, I mean I've done some seller financing deals, and those were probably like the nicest that I've done in my career.
Yeah.
I haven't done any sub two, and from what I understand now, they're kind of cracking down on it. Like,
oh really?
Company don't really. Yeah, because private is like you have a lot of like young guys that see a video on YouTube and they're like, oh, okay, they're going to knock on like a seller door and be like, yeah, I can assume your mortgage. They do the transaction and then they never pay the mortgage. And so,
oh really?
Yeah, it happens several times. So title companies are
just cracking down
on it.
Oh wow.
So I don't know for how long it's going to work, but it's becoming kind of changing now. Seller financing, I've been here forever. You're in the commercial space, so that in commercial deals in multifamily, it's been like one of the most common ways to finance, or at least have a portion of your deal being on seller financing. So I think there's many things to be done here, especially in the current financing environment with interest rate that are crazy. Yeah. If you think about it, if you can get the seller to finance you at like 3-4%, I even got one seller financing deal at 0%. So it's pretty insane. Yeah. So is there a cost to join your chat if you want?
Yeah, so it's basically $150 to join, and then we have the 150, and then we have the 499, which basically the 499 package just gives you all the contracts, the joint venture agreements that I personally use. But if you just want to join, be part of the community, it's $150 to join, and let's close some deals. Let's JV.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about the events that you're doing. I've never actually been to one of your events. I gotta go the 1 hour drive to Miami, but I've seen some picture online and it looks insane. It looks like completely different than any meetups that I've ever been to. So it looks like a party. It's really the Miami vibe. So can you tell me a bit more like about that? How did you get started?
Man, I started I think almost like 2 years ago with my partner Henry. Henry, he does a grand offer, and then he does a one-on-one events.
We had Henry actually on the podcast. I think he was one of the first guests. Yeah.
Beautiful, yeah. So yeah, we have Henry there, and then I linked up with Ernie, the title guy, and us three just combined forces, combine our networks to do these monthly networking events and meet more buyers and sellers and connect your tenant, your termite guy, your inspection guy, just anybody else that is in that real estate space, so they can also share and get business. Because we do have booths available. You could contact me. If you want to be part of the REI events. And it's just a vibe, man. It's a vibe. It's like a reunion. I feel like it's a reunion every time we throw an event because say I did a deal with you and haven't seen you in 3 months. In a few months, hey, we did that deal, and so we we kind of celebrate.
That's very cool. And so it's really all kind of like real estate professional. It's not just pure wholesaling. You have some agents. You have
We've had a bunch of brokers or brokerages sponsor our events. We've got Epic Capital Realty sponsor our events. Smart Miami sponsor our events. So yeah, we've had all kind of brokerages to sponsor. So yeah, you kind of give the space to anybody here in South Florida doing deals.
Okay, that's cool. And so I know probably like because of the events that you've been doing, you've been like pushing way more content in the last few months. What's the play there for you? Like, have you seen more deals coming your way?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you close one deal, in 3 months or 2 months, it's worth it. I mean, if you're making, like we said, our average deal is $6,000. So it's pretty good ROI, and the events are paid for regardless. So it's just like a revolving, just putting everything in motion.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Okay.
So definitely recommend people to do content. And hit Alec.
Yeah, Alec, my guy Alec, is very good at like doing content, like writing the script, finding all the good ideas. So we should really. I will actually link his information, and Alec has been also on the podcast. He was
really?
one of the first guys on the podcast. So he's what he's. But so what would be your advice? Let's say we have someone listening to us.
Yeah.
Who's obviously not in South Florida, because now it would be very hard to go compete at doing like event and everything in Miami. You guys are really killing it. But let's say someone that is, I don't know, in another state, another city, and want to get in this whole like this whole kind of business like you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the more people that the easier it is to close the deal, right? So I would just recommend go on Facebook, go on Eventbrite, go on Meetup, and go to as many networking events that you can. And then the more people the easier it is to close deals.
Yeah.
All the buyers and sellers are at my networking event. So if you don't have a buyer, if you don't have a buyer's list, go to your local networking event, because all the buyers and sellers are there, 100%. So that's where they go.
What do you think about, there's always like this kind of thing that, you don't want to mass blast everybody because there is this guy that doesn't want deals in Boca, but he wants deal only in Miami, etc.
Yeah.
Do you think it really matters, or at the end of the day, just like, hey, you're a buyer, come here, you're going to receive all the deals that I have. You pay attention to the one that interests you. You don't pay attention to the rest. Or do you think you need to split your list?
Yeah, so that's why with the community, I have broken it down, right? So I have so basically I have South Florida, I have Orlando, South Central Florida, I have land, so the specific people that are specifically only like for developers looking for land, boom, there's a chat for them. And there's a chat for a specific buyer that's only looking for multifamily. So
you do separate
I
that.
do, yes, correct.
Okay, and so it's like different rooms, but they're able to join. Like a guy
Yeah,
really want to look the
I
opposite.
can zoom in, but let me just see here. Open up my app. So you go here and
Oh, okay,
here,
nice.
but
I will add a screen.
yeah, so for duplexes, I have, duplex people that just want duplex 4 units and under. If people want multifamily, and for chatting events, strictly, to chat, to put events together. So I've kind of like divided it, so people are just more focused. So it works out for me, yeah.
All right, and so
But that you brought that topic up.
yeah, and how do you blast your deal only on the members to the members of his private chat, or do you do any kind of like SMS blast, email blast? Like,
So yeah, we do have an email blast, and the reason why the chat is that membership fee is, as you can see on the hat, it's members only. Yeah, because if you want deals in real time, right? And that's where I think I kind of led the pack in the online WhatsApp community, is because before we would only get emails, at 9 in the morning, right? So you would get your email at 9 in the morning, but if let's say Yoann, he locked up a deal at 5 p.m. and he wants to sell it now. Boom, he sent it to me at 5:30. It's in my chat. At 6 o'clock, I have a wire. So it's kind of like a thing that's 24 hours. It's a living breathing community that you're able to do 24 hours. You don't have to wait till the next day to put it on the email to see. I think that's why I've been successful, right? Because success loves speed, and whoever puts the deal in front of the buyer first is the one who gets the prize.
yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, that's what I
It
like.
makes perfect sense. And it's true that now that I think about it, when I was doing deals in Detroit, I had my buyer list of like, I don't know, like 300,000 people or something.
Oh wow, very nice.
We had a VIP list that was probably 10 people, and those guys would get, priority. Almost like sometimes we would look up a contract.
Yeah.
I would just send to those 10 guys. And basically, if it was sent to the rest of the list, is because those 10 guys wouldn't take the deal first. And so with this member only, you kind of like bypass this entire thing. As soon as you have something, everybody ends up.
Yeah, I put it on the chat. If not, you can wait till the next day when we do start the email list around I would say 8:30 or 30 in the morning.
Okay, so
It depends.
And so when you say like the wire hits like 2 hours after, does it mean that most of your buyers like waive contingency? Like,
Yeah, I don't believe in inspection periods. I mean, and then the community. I mean, these deals are already heavily discounted, so that's why it's 0 days inspection, cash or hard money only. And yeah, 0 days inspection. So if you're coming, I mean, like if you're going to Port Gill, please do your due diligence and and your numbers before.
So does it mean like they put all EMD first before going to see the property? Or
some deals go sight unseen. We do have some buyers that are pretty aggressive. They could make a decision right off of pictures and a good video walkthrough. It just depends.
Yeah,
how aggressive you want to be. Like I said, the Miami market is super aggressive.
It is. It's pretty insane, and that's why I'm asking. I remember like the last deal I've done in Miami-Dade, like as soon as I put it under contract and I blessed the buyer, I had 3 buyers. They were fighting for it, and they would put like all the MD sight and see.
Yeah, it's
just based on the picture.
Yeah,
we're doing a good job, but I had like people doing virtual walkthrough and very detailed picture with all the details, but still like. In some area in Jacksonville, it would be way harder to sell a deal sight and see, and people want to at least walk the property and before sending it.
I think a lot of properties in Jacksonville are framed too.
Yeah,
right? That's the one thing that I kind of stay away from. I don't buy frame. CBS black construction, around 250,000 and under, and for a duplex is 350 and under. I just gave you guys my buying box, by the way. So if you have a deal, DM me. I'm a buyer too.
That's nice. So talking about that, what's your strategy here? Because I know you wholesaling a lot or co-wholesaling a lot. but you told me you're a landlord as well. So do you have any, I don't know, I interviewed some guy that would tell me like, oh, every 5 deals, I keep one as a
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You put in sell 4, buy 1, sell 5. I strongly believe in that because look, I live in Miami, right? And Miami, the cost of living in Miami is so expensive. Where if I just like sell, I can make $200,000 today. But if I don't make anything in the next 6, 9 months, those $200,000 are gone, man.
Yeah.
I try to live a lavish lifestyle, man. You know, I like to eat out and stuff. Miami is pretty expensive. So yeah, definitely when I see money like $100,000 in the bank account, boom, I'm looking for my next deal. I'm looking for my next buy and hold for
That's
sure.
nice. And so you're telling me about the brokerage side where you do more like commercial deals.
Correct.
What's your take between buying single family houses versus buying apartment buildings?
Man, yeah, that's definitely in the book. Right now I'm mostly focused on duplexes and 4 units and under right now in my same zip code.
Oh, you're trying to buy in the same zip.
Yeah, because it's easy to manage. My crew's there already, so I buy in basically 3 zip codes: 33127, which is like the Buena Vista zip code, which is the West Little River zip code, 2, which is the Alapata zip code, and then I try to stay in that same triangle. And it's going great for me. You know, I buy a 50% ARV, and it's been going great so far.
That's great, bro. It's interesting because for the last 8 years or so, I've been doing deals like all over the country already, and I realized at some point that I don't know, I didn't want it to have to take an airplane to go see my properties, having all those property managers to deal with, and so now. And I told that to you guys last time, but reached out through the chat. I'm like, dude, there's only one zip code where I buy.
Tell me.
33444. Delray Beach, east of 95.
Okay.
95 until A1A, Delray Beach. That's it.
Okay.
I want to be 5 minutes maximum from my house around here. That's the only thing that I would do. And I try to really stick to that because even deals that are, Fort Lauderdale or West Palm Beach, really, I remember having a property in Riviera Beach, dude. Every time I wouldn't have to drive there. I'm like, it's 1 hour. You need to go there. You need to come back. There's traffic. There's everything. I don't want any of that. So yeah, I really understand this.
I think the important thing is sticking to your formula.
Yeah.
Like me, my formula is buy at 50% and then refinance, in a year, at 70%. So you're in the deal with basically no money.
Yeah.
I think if you have a formula, if it works, don't deviate. Because I think that's when you get in trouble. And
yeah, for sure. Have you seen the market like evolving in the last few months?
I think the market's always changing and adapting. So it's very important to stay aware of the current markets. I know that they're having a big NAR lawsuit right now.
Yeah.
With the buyers agents commissions and stuff, and everybody was expecting interest rates to go down. Right now, it doesn't seem that they're gonna go down. So just stay aware of your market.
Yeah.
100%.
How do you see like the South Florida market as a whole, like evolving? And
Man, I still think it's a super, super hot market. Do deals make sense to me? Not really, but I'm still selling, so deals are still moving.
So that's interesting because you probably like you've been here forever. I've been here for like 9 years now.
Okay.
So when I look at price, even in my zip code here, I'm like, dude, house is selling for 700,000, will sell for 200,000 in a year's time.
And they're still
Doesn't make any sense.
and they're still
So
selling.
I've been actually a few years ago, I was like, market in South Florida, it's about to crash. And that's where I went to Detroit. I went to those other cities. I was wrong because the market like kind of like tripled or quadrupled in those few years. But when I look at it today, I'm wondering because deals don't make sense in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then I look at markets like California or New York. I'm like, all those people wants to live in South Florida, and it's still super cheap. I talked to a guy. I sold a house in Boca for 1.3 million. Same house I bought a few years before for 5. Buyer was from New York, and the guy was like, "That's cheap for me. For me, it's the price of like a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan. Like it's a 1,000 square foot condo. It's nothing." So I'm thinking, if you think about those migratory flux, all those people coming into South Florida, want to live here for many different reasons, there is room for price increase. There is room for price increase for years to come.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's why I don't deviate from my formula, which is buy at least 1 to 2 to 3 doors a year.
Yeah.
So that's my formula, buy 1, 2, 3 doors a year. And then by the time I'm, 40, 45, I'm good. I have a few doors and I can relax.
Yeah. I believe in like the commercial side of things for the scale of it. I think it's easier when you buy an open building to, it's a little bit like your formula for the zip code. Now, if you find a building and you can finance a building or raise the money for a building that is, 100 units, obviously everything is grouped in one place. So your management, you can have your management team in-house. It's easier to manage than having 100 different single family houses spread across Miami. So I believe in that. The only issue is like Miami or South Florida in general for commercial. I think like there's been so much interest in the last few years, but it's still easier to find a deal on single family than it is on commercial.
Yeah, commercial is super, super because nobody wants to sell. Nobody wants to sell, and interest rates are still high. So yeah, the multifamily space is definitely taking a hit.
Yeah, for sure. So what is the reason why you do more like the traditional brokerage side on commercial and not wholesaling? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I
it's
think
still sort of
yeah,
and
yeah, exactly. I mean, first of all, you'd have to put, at least 50,000 around. The escrows are bigger, 20, 50, even $100,000 they want an escrow,
yeah,
and just the timing, everything. I mean, it can be done, and I have done assignments on multifamily, but I just rather use the license, for
do you think it's because sellers are more sophisticated than commercial?
Yeah, 100%. I do think that sellers are more sophisticated in the multifamily aspect. I mean, if you own, 8-unit apartments or 20, 40 units, I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? So it takes a little bit more savviness and to wholesale multifamily deal.
Yeah,
that way.
it makes sense. You were talking about the license, with like the industry changing and probably like regulation coming on wholesaling and all of that. Would you advise people getting started in wholesaling to get licensed, or do you think?
Yeah, no, I think everybody should be licensed, but I mean, it just really depends on that person and their goals, and then what they want to do, But I definitely think in education.
Yeah, I think education, and I think I've seen some crazy stuff in the wholesaling industry. So I think having some kind of regulation would be a good thing to become like less of a hustle and more like a legit industry, as a whole. But I think it works the other way around too. I think agents, especially now with like the lawsuit and everything happening, I think more agents should be looking in the investment side. The way I see it is like you go to an appointment with a seller, you should be able to have like different cards in your toolbelt, different tools in your toolbelt, being able to provide a listing, a cash offer, maybe a creative deal, but adding different options depending on the situation.
Yeah, I think that's the key to success, because not every deal is the same, and not every one person is going through the same thing. It could be a distressed seller going through a probate. It could be a person that it doesn't work for a wholesale deal, so you need to do an ovation. So, or like they don't have a lot of equity, but they have a good interest rate, so you could do a creative. So yeah. And then that's why I offer that $4.99 package to give you all those same tools that I use to my disposal. And I think having the right tools to going to listing appointments is key to success, right? Because if you just go with one tool and it doesn't work for, let's say a listing, you shot yourself in the foot,
Yeah, for sure.
So
going back at this question that I had, is someone wanted to duplicate basically what you're doing here in Florida, and let's say, I don't know, Detroit in Michigan, what would be the steps that they need to follow? Like, do you think, first of all, this toolkit that you have for $4.99, like it already gives them all the contract, all this kind of stuff. So what would you say is the first step? Going to events, like building this network? Would you recommend that someone start a meetup, or do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yes, start your meetup, grow your own community. I mean, at the end of the day, we're here to help each other. So, yes, start a meetup, join a community, or join already a community that's already in place, like your local REIA, in Detroit, and get yourself a mentor. Get yourself a mentor, take notes. And I think that's the way to closing deals.
That's a good point. I'm glad you talked about that. Do you did you have any mentor?
Yeah, of course. I had like Slapping as one of my mentors. Definitely recommend him. And I've always surrounded myself with closers. Like Camilo Castro, he's a good one. Andres Ramirez, Henry's a good guy right there. So, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you think it's important to have mentors around you?
Oh,
To
1,000%, 1,000%. I agree.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, I think like you can do it on your own, but it's going to take a very long time, and you're going to go through like trials and error. I think the right mentor can kind of like shorten this learning curve. So
Yeah, it's like taking the elevator, not the stairs. So.
yeah, absolutely. All right, so good info here. Another thing that I wanted to ask you, we talked about the market. Yeah, what's your take about Airbnbs, man? Because Miami is like crazy about like Airbnb, and I hear pro and cons. I'm not in Airbnb at all, but
So
I hear a lot of things.
that's a good thing that you brought that up. I mean, I think that Airbnb unfortunately is declining. And pad split is kind of like the new wave, right? So as Airbnb has become more vacant, and not a lot of people are traveling for XYZ reason, but people still need a place to live. Pad split comes in, and
What is pad split? I've seen that online, but I have no clue.
So
even bit.
pad split is basically co-living. If you ever have a house and you have roommates, that's essentially pad split. So
Okay.
if you've ever had a house and you have roommates,
Yeah.
they kind of commercialize that, and they kind of set that up and run it for
So you have like a shared area of living room, kitchen,
Yes.
and then each individual room is rented separately?
Correct.
Okay, that's interesting. And so who manage the common area? Like, is it
Yeah, so pad split kind of has an application, and they kind of, for landlords, they help you set up with it. I know, or Oriana, maybe we can link her up in the link below. I mean, she can help you set up. I have one right now in Liberty City, and it's done pretty good. I'm actually doing another one. I'm doing I'm closing May, a 6-bedroom, 5 baths. I just got that appraisal one today.
Yeah.
460. I bought it for 360. So at the day of signing, I'm gonna have $100,000 in equity, and it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. My buying range right there.
And so this pad split thing,
So you right here, 469. Yeah, contract price is 360. So at the day of signing, just increase my
your net worth value on the
by $100,000 just at the day of signing. Yeah.
nice.
So that's why I think it's super important to buy and not just sell.
Yeah, for sure. And so this pad split, is it the same regulation that you would have on short-term rentals, or do you have other regulation?
Well,
Because I know in Miami, a lot of people got in trouble, especially in Miami Beach. I think they really cracked down a few years ago. And
yeah, I wouldn't say that it's more like a short-term rental, but it's more of a co-living. So it's a long-term co-living.
so it's not a per night thing. You mean like
No,
you're going
no,
to stay for a few months?
No, it's a co-living solution to a big problem that we have with housing, right?
Yeah.
Housing's getting more expensive, so it's kind of like it's
As long as there's a
the cost of living, so it's like a long-term solution to the rising cost.
That's very interesting. I won't give any name because I don't know if it's legal or not. But I used to live before moving to the REI.
Yeah.
I used to live, Cortland. Like Cortland are those big like multi-tenancy operator. We have some all over South Florida, like massive residential development. I used to live in one of the residents in Boca, very nice building with all the amenities. And I ended up hiring one of the closers from my agency who was living there. How can this guy afford to live in this place? Minimum rent is like $5,000 a month. He was a kid in his 20s, just fresh out of high school. I'm like, how the hell do they live there? But it's actually what they did. They took like a 4-bedroom apartment, and there were like 6 of them living in there. And so I was like, it's the best of both worlds. I'm paying like less than $1,000 per month. We're having we're enjoying the gym, we're enjoying the pool, we're enjoying everything. It works. So it's very similar to this model that you're talking about. Very interesting. What is the length of the lease on those fast lease?
So it just depends. I mean, I know that they do ask for a deposit. They do ask for a deposit, and then if you're,
Can people come for a week, or is it like a month?
no, I mean,
year?
on mine, I try to keep it monthly, right? So I ask for a month deposit, a month deposit, and like first and last month, basically 2 months to move in.
Okay. And do you already have like have you been doing that for a few months already? Or
Yeah, I mean, I've had one already for 2 years.
okay. What's the turnover on average?
It's a high turnover. That's why I keep it to a property manager, because then I go crazy.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, the high turnover, but it's almost always rent.
Yeah.
So
That's the thing too, like managing those places. It depends on what you do. I mean, if it's the only thing that you want to do, you can manage it yourself. But when you're already busy in your day to day, like
yeah, you gotta
you don't have time for it. It's like my girlfriend wanted to buy a house in Delray to do Airbnb, and I was like, you need to manage it because I'm not going to go there every time there is a freaking thing, every time the AC doesn't work, or I don't have time to do this kind of thing. So I think having a property manager for that is great. Pad Split, is it an app like Airbnb, or is it?
yeah. So they do have an app, and then they set you up with your own basically your own ad split representative, who basically guides you A through Z, how to set up your basically your house, and how to get started. I think they have like many contracts with like airlines and different other companies to make sure that you're always booked.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a good
It's just another exit strategy, right? Just another exit strategy. Like, let's say your mortgage is $3,000, and you wouldn't even cash out with a single family renter, right? Because your rent on that house would be $3,000, but with house plate now you're saying you're getting 4,600, right? So, or you're getting 4,000, but you're getting more than what you would generally with like your single family tenant.
Yeah. Yeah, my take on that is that it's good to optimize. Like if you buy the property and you want to increase your cash flow, it's great. Now, I think one of the common mistakes that I've seen people doing, especially with Airbnb, that they would buy the house way over the retail value because they're looking at the Airbnb number, and I think it's kind of
overvalued, yeah.
You want to make sure that the cash flow as a regular rental before doing Airbnb.
Yeah, I've seen so many people, or so many listings fully furnished and just flop Airbnbs,
Yeah.
unfortunately, So, yeah, look out for that. Obviously, that's why I was saying that Airview is kind of on the decline, just for how many listings I see fully furnished, and that used to be an Airbnb that, yes, probably didn't work out.
No, that's the thing. I think too, it can be oversaturated in some markets. I looked into Orlando one time in the Disney area.
Okay.
There was a ton of houses for sale. They're all furnished for Airbnb. I was thinking, obviously, it's someone that set it up this way. Why are they selling it apparently at a discount compared to what they pay if it was working fine on Airbnb? And I think the market is so saturated in those areas. Like there is hundreds and hundreds of these things, and yeah, and I think it's not for everybody. I think it depends on what you're looking for. I personally rather go to an hotel. I've done Airbnbs a few times in vacation, but that I just like when I go to vacation, I like it to be like no headaches. I've been one time in Puerto Rico. I rented a place on Airbnb last minute. He was in the hood, bro. Like I crossed the whole thing. I'm like, there's no fucking way my car is going to be like taken into the middle of the night. Like it's terrible. Yeah, I just like to go to hotels. Now I get it. When you have like a large family, it can get expensive. So having a place where everybody can stay is nice. But yeah, I prefer going to hotel.
And it just depends, and really just be aware of your numbers,
Yeah.
because they could say, oh, it can make $6,000, $5,000 in Airbnb potential income, but if you're vacant in a few months and you're gonna have to put it on the market soon because if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, for sure. So in the current market and saying that, as we talk, like we both think that the market is a little bit inflated right now, even though like people are still making deals. What kind of deal do you see happening on your platform? Is it mostly long-term buy and hold play, like people will close on it and hold it, or do some Airbnb or pad split or whatever? Or do you see some flippers still?
I mean, I think 70% of my business is the fix and flippers. Okay, where they're trying to buy a deal for a profit, for a discount, and sell for a profit. But you do have your buy and holds. But I would say 70% are cash fix and flippers.
Okay, that's interesting. I've been looking at doing a few flips here in the area, and every
I got a deal in Boca, by the way.
Oh, really? We need to go look at it after. But yeah, every time I look at the numbers just don't make sense. Like construction is getting expensive. The crews are getting more expensive. So you can turn a profit, but I feel like the margin are getting like smaller and smaller. What's your take on like wholesaling versus flipping? Like I personally prefer to take a small assignment here, right?
Exactly. No, I mean, like it all goes back to I'm a landlord first and a wholesaler second. If I see a deal for 50 cents on the dollar, I'm gonna close on it because I know I can refinance at 70% and be in the deal with no money. So anything else above that, that's 60 or 70 cents that doesn't meet my criteria, I just assign.
Yeah.
And I don't really do a lot of fix and flip, to be honest.
So it really goes back to what you were saying earlier of finding your sweet spot, finding your formula that works, and really stick to it. Like it means like if you come across 100%. Something that doesn't fit it, like
not deviate. Do not deviate. That's where I see some investors get into trouble where they're trying to chase that deal and then it has so much little spread that any point of error they're done. They're still profit in the deal. So yeah, careful with that.
That's interesting because I think it's a principle that applies to a lot of things in life, and I see the same thing with wholesalers doing that on the marketing side. For example, 1 month they do mirrors, the next month they do cold calling, the following month they do Facebook ads. I'm like, dude, just give a shot at one thing, focus on it, focus your budget and your energy on it, do it for 6 months. And then you can tell like it's been working or it's not been working. But like, what kind of experience do you want to get in a month? Like it's
I try to tell people, jack of all trades is a master of none. So if you try to do so many different things, you're gonna fail 5 different things. So I think for wholesalers starting out, just focus on cold calling. Just focus on cold calling. That's what I did when I started. I made 500 phone calls and I stuck to that. 500 phone calls and I closed 1 deal. And I knew if I would get on the phone and make 500 phone calls, I'd close 1 deal. And I already knew my formula. So I just stuck to that until I had enough funds where I felt comfortable doing networking and getting deals from a different source. But first, I mastered cold calling.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not a big fan of cold calling as a whole because I think more people like now with all the gurus online, it kind of like gets saturated because everybody pulls the same list and stick races.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I totally agree with you that when you're getting started, sometimes I have people calling me and being like, hey, I want to do Facebook ads. And I'm like, okay, tell me about your business. And they're like, well, I'm looking for my first deal. I'm like, we're not the right company for you. Come back once you're already doing 3 to 5 deals per month. And then we can help you scale and go to 10 deals per month. But at the beginning, if you're not doing at least 3 deals per month, stick to cold calling and do it yourself. Don't even try to hire VAs if you're not able to.
Well, no,
just do it yourself. Yeah. But the problem is most people will start telling you it doesn't work. And when you ask them, they've done like 30 calls. Yeah. And it's exactly what you say, like you do 500 calls.
500, yeah.
And if 500 doesn't work, you do 2,000 calls. And then at 2,000 calls, first of all, you get way better chance to find a seller, the low-hanging fruit that want to sell and that you're calling right at the right time. Because I believe cold calling is that. It's more like a low-hanging fruit kind of strategy. It's not that you're the best on the phone, is you're calling this person right at the right time to sell. Right. But I think also if you do 2,000 calls, you're going to be way more confident and way better on the phone than you were on your first call. Right.
Yeah, and I always say that your first deal is always going to be the hardest. But once you close your first deal and you realize that it's real, man, it's the sky's the limit, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the real estate is a beautiful industry. There's like a lot of possibilities, and especially because in wholesaling, you get access to the deal. And I think that's really the key, being able to cherry pick the best deal.
Of course, 100%.
Over time.
100%. That's the reason why I also to get that deal at 8 in the morning and just keep it. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll take this one.
Yeah.
You know?
And you get access to a lot of deals. Like you see a lot of deals coming. I know you really like understand this Miami market. So for someone that doesn't know Miami, what would be, or South Florida in general, I would say, what would be your top 5 markets to invest in? Like any
No,
yeah,
I kind of just gave out the sauce on my 3 euros.
yeah, but
I use.
it's for different reasons because you're telling me that it's more for convenience because you want things that are, you want your portfolio to be grouped in an area.
Yeah, I mean, so I kind of like stick to that formula where I can buy a single family house where in Miami-Dade is about $450 now. $450 is your average single family house, and it used to be just last year that I was able to find single family houses for around 200,000. So you know now obviously it's getting a lot more competitive. So I mean that's what I would kind of recommend. You know, stick to a market, stick to a formula, and don't deviate from that formula. Don't go buying a property that's 90% ARV, you know, because you're gonna lose money, right?
Yeah.
So just stick to your formula that you're comfortable.
So you think
I'm
in this
comfortable with
market,
50%.
you think in this market you can still find deals at 50 cents on the dollar?
So yeah, just one of the deal that I'm buying now. I bought it for 360. It appraised for 460 as is. So man, I mean, yeah, I mean, 100%. It's just you have to look, you know, you have to be there and be ready. You know, when you get that email, when you get that text, be ready because it might not be God, and like it might not be there. You know,
What's your average like on your chat? What do you see like? How long does it stay on the market? I mean, on your
yeah, no. So if it's a good deal, I'll put a deal at 8 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning. If it's a good deal at 9:30, I already have a wire.
Wow.
So that's the thing. It's really, really competitive, unfortunately.
So you're sticking to those zip codes that you like in Miami, but in South Florida in general, if people that don't know anything about Florida wants to buy something, will you still say like it's those zip code or is
No, I mean, look, if I would if I were to recommend a formula, try to stick to 60 cents on them. Right.
Okay.
60 cents is
average price? You would say below 500 or
yeah, definitely below 500. Don't go crazy and buying over, you know, 600 low, right? Start small, 200,000, 60 cents on the dollar.
why duplexes and fourplexes?
So, well, the more doors, the less risk, right? So, you know, let's say a duplex, you know, now you have 2 people paying your rent, right? Paying your mortgage, versus 1. So, yeah, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes is definitely the way to go if you want to start off as a for landlord investor.
Okay. Those are pretty out to find, right? There is not that many.
No, there is. Right now, currently, I have about four flexes on my list. If you follow me, you know, you can get those deals too. I have a deal in Dania right now, around 900,000, and Oakland Park for like around $1 million. So they're there.
What do you think about Palm Beach County, like West Beach? Well,
Yeah, I mean they're there. I did a deal I think last month in Palm Beach. I think for around 240. I've sold deals in West Palm Beach. Yeah, and I have a deal in Boca, which is not too far.
nice. So how is it priced?
For 900,000 ARV is one. It's a 6-bedroom, 5 baths, with a pool. Beautiful. You know, it's like nah. So I don't know.
Nice.
I don't get many deals in Boca, but
It's pretty tough because there's so many people looking for Boca. That it gets crazy very fast. Yeah. And I think in most of those country clubs, you know, they have like almost like waiting list of it's it gets pretty insane. But yeah, there's even like cities like Lake Worth where you can still find like deals for pretty cheap. And a few years back, you would have asked me, I would have stay away from there because it's like no one wants to buy there. It's like but you're looking at it, the same houses are now worth like 300, 400, and they would be sold for like 80K like 8 years ago. So
Yeah.
it's everything is moving. I think South Florida as a whole is really moving. All right, man. Well, I think we've been at it for almost an hour now. So what do you have any like parting words for the audience? And then if you can tell us a little bit more about, where people can find you again and sign up for.
Yeah. Again, for any new wholesaler or investor looking to close their next deal, go to your local REI event. Because all your buyers and sellers are at your local meetups. And yeah, you guys can find me at Luigi on Instagram, and then Offmarketdeals Miami at Instagram as well. Same for YouTube.
Well, I can't believe you find this domain name of Offmarketdeal. That's the best name. Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah, man, I got it and I stuck with it.
Yeah, that's a nice brand. All right. If people want to join your events in Miami
On IG.
and you say it's the first Thursday, right?
Yeah, so first Wednesday or Thursday of the month. We switch it up. The next one is in May at the Doral Yard. It's in Doral. So come out and let's close some deals, guys.
All right, sounds good. Well, brother, thank you so much for coming here.
Hard and you aiming for the 7 figures. Hear from the experts who know how to deliver success stories, plenty advice. Time for you to rise. REI tribe, yeah. Real estate agents to investors. All my entrepreneurs, time for you to check this. Yoann Direct, he's getting it started, man. From running businesses to digital marketing. Hey, REI tribe. REI tribe. Let's go.